Hey, welcome to AJ's Basketball Hour. Today we're going to be talking about the East and West playoff series and yeah.
So, AJ, what's the first matchup in the Western Conference we'd like to discuss?
The Houston Rockets versus the Minnesota Timberwolves.
And what's your prediction for that series?
I think it's going to go to Game 6. I think that's because I feel like that's going to be hard for the Rockets.
Okay. So, if the Rockets are going to be winning in 6, who's going to be the key contributors for their team?
Well, yeah, that's pretty easy. Like James Harden, Chris Paul, like Trevor Ariza, and Clint Capella, Eric Gordon. Yeah.
Okay. And what's the next matchup? And my prediction is the Houston Rockets are going to win in 5.
Yeah, I think 6 it'll go to.
Okay. And what's the next matchup?
The Golden State Warriors versus the San Antonio Spurs.
And what's your prediction for that series, AJ?
I think it's gonna be Game 5 because the Warriors don't have Stephen Curry right now. He's injured, and their All Stars might some of their All Stars might still just end up getting worse and have to miss more games. But they're back. All of them are back except Curry and yeah. But the Spurs, since they don't have Kawhi Leonard, they're not. That's why they've dropped so low. And the Warriors are gonna win in Game 5.
Okay. And I'm predicting also a 5-game win for the Warriors in that series. Now, what's up? What's the next series in the Western Conference?
The Portland Trailblazers and the New Orleans Pelicans.
Okay. And what's your prediction for that series?
The Pelicans are gonna win in 6 games. No, Game 7.
Oh, a 7-game. And why do you think that?
Because Portland, it's like because Portland isn't they just kind of because all the teams they're the same. From third place to 8th place, they're all the same. They're all the same type of team, and it's so anything could happen in there. From 3rd to 8th, anything could happen.
So if New Orleans is going to be able to accomplish this upset, who's going to have to be a key contributor for their team?
Anthony Davis and I guess Drew Holiday, and I don't know. Yeah, I think that's all. I think they're enough, and they have all these. They have Nikola Mirotic coming off the bench, which would help them a lot.
Well, right on. And I'm going to predict the Blazers are going to win this series in 6. I just think their backcourt's a little bit too strong. The tandem of C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard.
Mm-hmm.
And what's their final matchup for the Western Conference?
The Utah Jazz versus the Oklahoma City Thunder.
So, AJ, what's your prediction for the series?
This is hard. I think it's going to be Game 7 for sure. And the Jazz.
Yeah, well,
I think the Jazz are going
to... Why is the Jazz... Why do you think they're going to be successful?
Because the Thunder is their first year in the playoffs with Carmelo Anthony, Paul George, and Russell Westbrook and
Okay.
Waffle Westbrook and and then the Jazz have Donovan Mitchell and stuff, and the Jazz have Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert to defend them, and yeah.
Okay, and I'm going to predict the Thunder are going to win in 6 in that series.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're going to move on to the Eastern Conference right now. And what's the first series you'd like to talk about?
The Toronto Raptors versus the Washington Wizards.
Okay, AJ, and what's your prediction for the series?
The Raptors are going to win in Game 7 because they always go to Game 7. They're going to go to Game 7 again. And
if the Raptors are going to be successful, who do they have to rely on to lead them to victory in this series?
Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan, C.J. Miles, Kyle Lowry, Serge Ibaka. Well, they're pretty much everyone on their bench, pretty much Fred VanVleet and DeLon Wright and stuff.
Okay, and I think the Raptors are going to win the series in 5. I think they're going to be able to get a win in Game 1 in the playoffs tomorrow for the first time ever. That's my prediction. They're going to come out and play really well. And what's the next series in the Eastern Conference, AJ?
The Boston Celtics versus the Milwaukee Bucks.
Okay, and what's your prediction?
The Bucks are gonna win this
Bucks.
because now that they don't have Kyrie Irving, their best player, they have a team that's Al Horford's gonna lead, and I don't think Al Horford's enough to beat Giannis.
Okay, well that's a very good observation, and I do agree with you. I think the Bucks are actually gonna roll here. I think they're pretty athletic, and I think they can move Giannis to the center position and go real small ball against the Celtics. They can be really successful, and I'm going to predict the Bucks are going to win this series in 6.
Yes, I think instead of 6, I think it's gonna go to Game 7, and Bucks are gonna win.
Okay, what's the next series?
The Philadelphia 76ers versus the Miami Heat.
Okay, and what's your prediction for the series?
Philadelphia.
And why is that?
Because Philadelphia, they have Joel Embiid and Joel Embiid to defend. They have because the Heat don't have really that much people who would to take them down. Well, Goran Dragic would be good for them, but Dwayne Wade isn't as good as he used to be, and Hassan Whiteside, he's not enough.
Okay. And I do think the Sixers are playing maybe a little bit better than them right now. I think they're going to win this series in 7 games. And I think Ben Simmons is too much of a matchup problem for the Heat right now. And what's the last series we're going to talk about in the Eastern Conference?
The Cavs versus the Pacers.
So what's your prediction for the series, AJ?
Sadly, the Cavs are going to win this. Sadly.
And why is that?
Because it's the Cavs. They'll get through it. They're the Cavs.
Okay, and who's going to lead them to success? The Cavs.
LeBron, I don't know, George Hill, Rodney Hood.
Okay, no, I do agree. I think the Cavs' overall experience maybe.
Kevin Love's gonna have to step up.
And they're gonna win this series in 6. And how many games do you think the Cavs are gonna win in?
6.
Okay, so we're even there. So, do you have anything else you want to add over this first round of the playoffs?
Well, the only one that was kind of hard in the East was the Philadelphia 76ers and the Miami Heat.
Okay.
That was probably the only hard one because at first I thought Goran Dragic would step up, but not anymore.
Okay. So, I think that's it for the first week of the first video of the 2018 playoffs. And we're looking forward to seeing you again in a couple weeks after the first round, get ready for the second round, and hopefully we'll be able to be celebrating a game set or a Raptors victory over the Washington Wizards.
Hopefully not Game 7 again.
Yeah, well, signing off. Have a good night, and we'll see you later.
Bye.